Hello everyone. This is the Kubeflow AutoML and Training Walkthrough community call on 17th of September. As always, the meeting will be recorded and published on YouTube, and we follow the CSCF code of conduct. So welcome everyone, happy to be here. So I think we have a few things today to talk about in terms of the release and action items for Trainer and SDK and Katib work as well. So maybe let me quickly share my screen so we can go through these items. Yeah, so I think, yeah, first of all, I just want to share that we finally released the first RC4 SDK. It is great. So I think you already can try this out with installing this from our official registry from Pipey. This is our first release candidate for 0.1 release, which we planning to do relatively soon, I think. So the goal is to maybe have 1 week of testing for this RC, and if we don't have any, if we don't find any bugs or any significant changes we want to make, we just release 0.1 version. Um, so I think overall, like it doesn't have it only has the trainer functionality right now. So here you can see that we have this README, which kind of like give an overview what this Kubeflow SDK is about, like what is the roles here, like how you can get started, create your first distributed training job within trainer client. And I think we also added this kind of supported plan in the future. So as of now, we only support trainer, but we're planning to add Katib SDK for parameter optimization and other projects like pipelines. Um, yeah, so I think overall, I think that this is good. Probably we will release, as I said, like, maybe sometime next week, the official like 0.1 version for the SDK. And I think as we discussed like on the last call last Wednesday, we want to have more kind of frequent releases for the Python SDK. So maybe every 2 months or every month, depending on how many contributions we're going to have, we're going to release more versions to the Pipey. And I think we right now have really great automation process of releasing. So this is working extremely well, I would say, like much easier than we have previously. It's like, one thing that we just need to do is just basically, merge the PR, and we have the automatic script which will publish the release and prepare the GitHub release as well. So everything is automated. So we just need to submit the PR to update the version and the change log. And like I can show maybe one of the examples here. Um, yeah, release this one. Yeah, so everything is happening automatically once we update the version in the main branch or in the release branch. So it's, you know, pretty well, works pretty well. We definitely need to have something similar for a trainer so we can do, like we can automate releases as well. So we don't need to manually build an image and or manually, publish our models, API models to Pipey. All right, so any questions for the release for SDK? All right, so I guess for the trainer update, so since Madi, you're here, maybe you can give us a update for Jax before we jump.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Yeah.
Um, Shao has asked me to add the details for Docker image, and I also asked him if it's possible. I want to change the API design for the plugin, and it's pending on me, and I apologize for that. And I think I can do that till not till on the weekend because I have an exam on Friday. Yeah, that's the update, and the last communication with the TPU team at Google, they asked me for an estimation about how much credit I would need, and I told them about 1,000. And in response, they asked me about the billing ID, and I'm waiting for them to add the credit so then we can test TPU.
Yeah, this is great. Like, and are they planning to just, give you this, like, in terms of like, is it like part of your Qflow contributions or how it will be available for you to try out? Uh,
Um, Nothing. We didn't talk about that, and I told them if they need any blog post or something, we can do that.
Hmm.
But they didn't respond about that. I can ask them if it's a question.
Okay. So basically, they will give you access to Gkey where you can test this out, right?
Yeah, they gave me access to through the TRC program, but they
Mm.
told me that I cannot use Kubernetes with TRC. So then, instead, they can give me credits for Google Cloud.
Mm. Okay. So you need to manually deploy the cluster, right? On
Yeah.
the and then run this the plugin, right? Like the controller, basically.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. And in terms of the your like, I know you have the cap, right? And did you get a chance to work on the API changes? Um,
Uh, if you scroll down, uh, maybe the cap itself, I have designed the API, but maybe you can give me some feedback. I think it's complicated right now, and we could simplify it. That's the issue.
do you have an API in your cap already so we can review it?
Yes, you need to open the cap, not the comments, the file itself.
Sorry, may I ask a question? Do you have updated the cap to include the JAX policy?
Yes, this is.
Yeah, I think this one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's a bit complicated, and if you please give me up feedback, I can simplify it or something like that.
Yeah, I think maybe so. Let me ask you a question. So all those parameters, like, do you need to bypass them as environment variables, or how it would work?
In the JAX documentation itself, there are two topics. One is the configuration, and the other one are the configuration, the specific configuration for distributed training.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that I try to separate them, distributed config, which can be passed as environment variables, and
Mm-hmm.
those above are the optional but suggested configs for the whole JAX framework to work. And if you scroll up, there is the target backend selection, the platform, uh, and the JIT disabling flag and debug flag and everything.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like, because, for example, coordinator address, like, I don't think we should put it to the plugin similar to Torch. We should kind of like automatically configure this in the inside the JAX plugin, right? How we set up the master address for PyTorch, right? Um, Similar to this, like, number of processes, right? I guess this is the number of processes across all of the available devices, right?
Yeah,
Um, so is there a way for us to maybe calculate this by just inside the plugin, right?
you
Uh,
are right. Yeah, it would be better. Yes. Yeah, and then set them automatically. Yes.
yeah, I would suggest maybe like try to minimize, API as much as you can, and try
Okay.
to put as much as you can to the plugin. So then we don't need to introduce breaking changes in the future, right? Um,
Yes. Okay. I will do that.
yeah, from my understanding, um, you don't even need all of these, to be honest, but because like the thing is, like, you can specify them via environment variables on the runtime directly, right? So the
Yes.
can you tell me one thing? So this, for example, like platform, right? So how are
Yeah.
you going to use it in your image?
Um, in my image,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know right now.
Hmm. Like, how do you know how do you need to pass this to the JAX program, like to the JAX entry point? Like, is it like the part of the arguments, or how it works?
Yeah, there are three methods. One of them, the first thing is that we can set them as environment variable. The second thing is we can pass them as argument, and the third one is another thing in between, which I don't remember right now.
Yeah, so if that is possible to set up in them while like an environment variable, you can directly just set on the runtime, right?
Yes.
And all of these actually follow the same way, right? You know, disable
Yes.
it and yeah, and extra environment I think, but also don't need. I see. So I guess like then try to just maybe put as much as you can to the plugin, and also use the existing API, like existing environment variables for trainer, right? Sorry, for a template, right? For the job set template, right?
Job set template. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, I think we
Remove.
Mhm.
I will update the captain with that.
Eventually, you know, like we could even have the empty plugin, right? You know, for example, like I think we discussed it before with, I guess with you, Shower and Volcano, right? Like we can basically have just jacks without anything there if we don't need to put anything, but
Okay.
users can still use this API to activate the jacks plugin. So just an example, let me show you quickly. So, um, please. Yeah, like I think we don't have example here, but I think the goal, like maybe let me show you. So what I'm talking about, something like, um, so this is the MLX runtime, right?
Yeah.
But if we have the JAX policy, we can say has something like this, right? So we have an empty struct, which means like it will not have any API, but it will just activate the ML policy, right? Sorry, this plugin, right?
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, sounds good.
I will follow that. Yeah.
So
Thank
do
you.
you think, Magdi, like you can finalize this before October, like because in terms of implementation? Um,
I will let you know after our meeting if
okay.
it's fine.
Yeah, we just want to understand, like, because we're planning to release 2.1 before KubeCon in November.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You mean by the end of this month, September, or next month?
yeah. So we're planning to release 1.1 before KubeCon is which is November 10th. But we want to have like, you know, some RCs before. So maybe like in the start of October we will release the 2.1, which means like if we want to include this feature, we want to have something ready before mid of October, right? So
Okay. I think it's possible, but I will assure you after our meeting.
okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions here on the JAX part? All right, so then the next thing about the volcano, right, part. So I know I already kind of like leave my initial comments and I also ask Yuki to take a look and Antonin for this volcano cap. Is there any blockers or things you want to talk about right now? Shimin or Shao?
Yeah, I have changed. I have made some change, and I think the problem here is I met a conflict in the index tool.
Mm-hmm.
So I just use the two keys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I remember like it was
first
like
and then-
yeah.
yeah. I raise it in the first and it in the
So I think I kind of like ask you to explore if we can use this one indexer for two plugins. If you can just decouple, and maybe you can put like this kind of high-level indexer which can be used across all of the plugins, right? Um,
yes, I have changed it. Now I have used a single indexer, but I
oh,
still can't solve the conflict in the key.
okay, so even if you move them, you know, it is outside of the outside
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the like yeah, I see. So
Yeah, I still use the two class keys. Yes, and my plan for this PR is I will add some E2E test and for some integration test.
But I think so. My question is, so if you use the single indexer but the different keys, it works for you, right? You just need to separate them, right?
Yes.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I think it should be fine. I will take a look again for this. I think if we want to make them, if we need to have the different keys, we also need to add this key to this call scheduler runtime, right? So it will be clear that this key is for call scheduling and this key for Volcano, right? So maybe it makes sense to, add the prefix here as well, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, for integration test. So let me make a note. So review. Yeah, integration test. I think if you want, we can also like do this in the follow-up PRs if you want to, split them. So it is up to you. Like,
Okay, so I can separate the test from this PR.
yeah, like
I want a separate I want a separate PR.
do you want to include them here or you want to have the follow-up PR?
Yeah, I want to implement the test in a separate PR.
Okay, sounds good. Also, I think I asked. Let me double check. Yeah. I think I also asked you for unit test for entire component builder. I think this we need to do it here, right? It's basically the part of this framework tests, right?
Okay.
So basically, like because we have this framework, right? Like this extension framework which runs across all these plugins. So we just need to make sure when you update this framework tests with your Volcano plugin, it won't break the other functionality, right? So because here we have the call scheduling unit test as well. I think it's
Yes.
Yep.
I think I can refer to the call scheduling, how we test the call scheduling.
Yep, sounds good. Any other like open questions here?
Well, I think no other questions. The main questions is the index and the test.
Mm-hmm. What about this validation part that I asked to contribute? So basically, the
Yeah.
question, the question was because Volcano required to, like as we discussed before, right? Users will be responsible to set the runtime class, sorry, the priority class name in the queue, right? The specific label, so Volcano can recognize it. So do we want to introduce the validation part? So then, like when users basically submit the training runtime, we will make sure this training runtime is has the correct API, basically.
Okay, so we need to validate it just for the to in case if they have a wrong API.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's. Do you have example for runtime in your cap? Let me take a look. Lots of training. This one, right? Yeah, priority
Yes.
class name and scheduler name, and also I think it should be queue, right? The Volcano queue. I think you don't have it here, right? Queue.
Yeah, I think the queue is in the annotation.
Yeah, in annotation, right? So my question was, I think we should validate that this label exists on the runtime when this runtime is being created, right?
Okay, I see.
And I think also the priority classes needs to be aligned with what Volcano supports, right? because I think this arbitrary string, if I remember correctly, right, on the pod template, but Volcano supports specific priority class.
Yes, there's specific class name. So maybe it need to validation.
Yep. I think adding this validation might be helpful for so we will kind of like reduce number of errors, right? When users submit runtime, right, with the Volcano pod group policy.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have validation for co-scaling though. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't think we have it here because like co-scaling only requires the timeout and pretty much it. I think we have like as an example, you can take a look at the torch. Validate. Yeah, validate, right? So I think we have this here. We're doing some validations here. So you can take a look how we do like in other plugins. And yeah, I think it should be very straightforward.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for this Volcano proposal? All right, in terms of timeline, I'm also like wondering, so we think that we can finalize it before October?
Yes, I think I can finish it. At least I can finish these futures, and I will put the test in a separate PR.
Yeah, I think so. Having something in October would be really nice. I mean, before October. So we are now like in the middle of September. So maybe the next 2 weeks. Um, so then I guess we can do enough testing because I think you also need to update documentation, right? And similar to, we don't really have a good discussion around how those runtimes should be maintained. I'm talking about, right now we have this non-gang scheduling runtimes, right? But if users wants to enable gang scheduling, the platform admins, they need to do it by themselves. So yeah, the question is like, do we still want to follow this? And we really need to get some feedback from users. Like, what should be an example, right? Like, is it the documentation is sufficient for platform admins to enable gang scheduling? Maybe their answer is yes. Like, I don't know. Like, but we can talk about it. Like, but documentation definitely needs to be updated, right?
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I'm talking about this gang scheduling guide here, right? I will make a note here. Update docs. All right. Any other questions for this? For the Volcano scheduler?
Do you mean that we should finalize the volcano feature, all of the volcano feature before the October 1st?
I think we at least need to have initial support, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by all Volcano features?
Yes, as this PR includes the basic functionality of Volcano, such as for group creation, update and delete. And
Mhm.
another thing, there are more features for Volcano scheduler, such as limit range to update the power group according to the limit range, and other CRDs like that in the co-scheduling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can definitely do this in the follow-up implementation. Like, I don't think we need to have everything, right? I
Yes.
also, yeah.
So do you mean we should implement the basic feature such as in this PR before the October 1st, and we can put the other features before the 2.1 release.
Yeah, I think you kind of like need to like decide what features we want to do in 2.1, and like then we can iterate in the future, right? So network.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
I just said I agree with you.
And network topology, I remember it was some kind of asks, right, from Volcano users to support network topology. So do we think that with the default pod group we can also integrate with topology over scheduling, or we need to have additional changes to the plugin?
Oh, well,
Currently,
I
I
think we
don't.
just okay, well, I think we just to submit the topological specific, and it's Volcano's job, it's Volcano's controller job, maybe to handle this. Yes, I think we just need to include it in the pod group.
Yeah, so I guess like this was one of the, because we didn't support this in the PyTorch job, in V1 training operator, and I think it was something that was some request, right? That the feature was really well received from Volcano scheduler, right? So yeah, I think it would be nice to have this. So anyway, I guess like let's follow up on the PR and let's see like what we can do before 2.1. But let me know if you want to push more features there. Okay. So other thing, so for the cache side, so there is a work going on the PR for cache system. So we already have actually a couple of live demos for this cache. Like one was in KubeCon India, another one in AI Dev in Amsterdam. So basically we're working on this. If you want to take a look, like feel free to add any of your comments. So this is actually the Rust implementation for the cache by itself. And we also planning to do changes to the initializer and to the SDK to kind of like streamline the cache bootstrap. So I think we're planning to have the like releases also as part of 2.1. Yeah, but this cache is already functional, and I think actually added some sample README file to explain how you can test this out. So we'd love to get the feedback and review for this, because I think this is a pretty exciting feature, and definitely we should push this forward to support caching, especially on the large scale data. This is pretty relevant. Yeah, other things for 2.1. I'm wondering if there are any like maybe community members who have any questions or suggestions what we want to include in 2.1.
I think we can also add the LoRa support for the LM trainer. I'm almost finalize it and submit the PR this day.
Do you think that we can, so for Torchstone you mean, right?
Yes, finalize the CAF 2401, and then raise the proposal for dynamic backend.
So is it like separate, right? For dynamic backend, you're planning to open this separate proposal, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, LoRa support. Yeah, I think for Torchstone will be really great. And I think I also kind of asked Akash also to add another runtime for Qwen. So the problem that we currently have in our, so we're testing the Torchstone on GPUs, and we enable the GPU testing infrastructure for trainer. For those who are not really following this, and right now we run this for Llama model. But the problem for Llama model, Llama require for us to have specific token, and we're having some issues with secrets, because there is no way for us to push secrets on the pre-commits. So we kind of like decided to maybe take other model like Qwen, right? And add this blueprint to the upstream directly. So
we can also use the Llama model that does not need the key, secret key.
So what
I will have a check. There are many other Llama-like models repo. and they do not need the secret key, and
Oh, yeah, I see, I
the
see.
architecture are almost the same as Llama,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
someone just clone them.
mm-hmm. Yeah, like tiny llama, right? Or like some, modification, slightly modification, right, to the upstream llama, right? Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
we can also do this. I kind of like, I think I want to have Qwen. I think it would be nice to have Qwen, CTR, the runtime and upstream. Um, yeah, but maybe, in the future we can add more testing to just which doesn't require Hugging Face token, right? Um,
Yeah. So the Duan 3 runtime is also tested in with the Tortune or other runtimes.
mhm, mhm.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Yeah, so I think so. I guess for dynamic backends, kind of like require more discussion for us. I think like kind of like I covered this topic like a little bit on the last call. I think what we really want to eventually have it's like uh, it like when new models being released, we want to provide a blueprint for users to quickly fine tune them on Kubernetes, right? Like how like
Yes.
other projects, open source projects release their support for those models. I think I kind of expect from us having the same in the future. And we need to find a way how we can quickly add support for new models upstream, so users can quickly fine tune them, right? Without like much effort. I think the problem that they still require infrastructure, right? Like this require clusters, like the NG Kubernetes cluster to support them, but at least we provide them a kind of sort of recipe they can quickly deploy. And if they have GPUs, they will be able to fine tune it. So for this, like we need to find like a way how to quickly support more models, right? Upstream.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I think like, Sean, maybe as part of your proposal, we can talk about like, did you get a chance to think about whether we want to use other projects like Onslaught or Llama Factory? What is it like the?
Yes, I will look into it.
Mhm.
I think also Llama Factory is good enough slots and maybe the future project from the Tortune team.
Yeah, yeah, I know that Torchstone also working on some next version, but they didn't really give a timeline for this, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we definitely like at some point should talk about these built-in trainers and how we should structure them, uh, right, to support different configs, right?
Yeah.
All right. So any other questions for this? Okay, yeah, maybe I can also talk a little bit about optimizer clients as well for this. Okay. So I think I think we also want to cover Q part. So there is kind of a parallel track going on the work stream around supporting train job within Q. And I think this is great. So for those who not ever, like, Q is used everywhere these days, KQ project, like to job dispatching and admission. And, previously Q supported all of the V1 type of jobs like Python job, TF job, MPI job, MX job. Um, and like it's been a work to support the train job within Q. I think they're planning to add this as part of 0.414 release, if I remember correctly. But I need to follow up with the batch folks here. But I think eventually that will definitely drive adoption of train job, because KQ is like one of the most popular scheduler these days, and we definitely need to be engaged with them so folks can orchestrate their train jobs across multi-clusters, across different environments, and have more other features like file sharing, etc., to effectively schedule the train jobs. So this is great. Like I think there are still need some work to do to enhance our orchestration and to enhance the integration. But I think that will, we will just do this in the future. But I think like the next step for us is just adding this to the documentation, so users are aware that they can use train job within KQ project natively. All right. So other questions for 2.1 release. Is there any, PRs that we're missing that we need to include? Yeah, I think Valentina, maybe we can talk about the MCP server as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I created, so hi everyone. I created an issue. It's a proposal I was discussing briefly with Andre about building an MCP server for Kubeflow Trainer. The idea will be with this MCP server is to expose the functionalities and capability for Trainer to make it easier to their MCP clients to connect and adopt Kubeflow Trainer. So I don't have yet an architecture, so I was thinking that maybe next I can build like an high-level architecture how this will work, and then go from there. But I wanted at least to start the conversation and see what the community thinks about this proposal.
Yeah, that's great. Like any questions from other folks? Yeah, I think maybe like overall this is great. Like I know I think previously some folks from Red Hat trying to add the MCP server for Kubeflow Training SDK. And I think the question is like how we want to deploy this, right? And create whether this will be SDK that we're going to publish to PyPI, or because as of now people run MCP servers in a very, very different way, right? It could be Python package, it could be separate subprocess, right? It could be a microservice, right? And we could definitely take a look, like for example, what Spark History Server is doing. I think they're just publishing their abstraction on like this their package to PyPI, and users can just install it, and then they can plug in their own host applications, right? So agents can interact with those tools, right? I think the interesting question is like what set of tools like we want to expose for the trainer. Like, is it like the same tools we have in SDK, like all the APIs that we have in SDK, or we need to simplify them? Like, did you think about it or not yet?
No, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, no, I haven't thought about it. I think it's a good topic to discuss. It could be that. It could be also like I was thinking, do we need about migration, for example, like from trainer V2 to training V2 to trainer 2.0? Like, is that something like maybe we can help people? I don't know. We could. I think we probably can start with a proof of concept and see how it works. But if we have ideas of the things that we see more blockers, we could prioritize that. Like it could be like the SDK, as you said, or the migration, or that's we just need to discuss it and decide.
Yeah. And we can, for example, have MCP server for Kubeflow SDK, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Interact with Kubeflow.
Yeah. True. Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, do you have a preference, either like should we focus on the SDK or just on the
I think
trainer?
if you have time, like maybe you can propose some ideas and we can talk about them, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Perfect.
see like what is the short-term to the long-term approach, right? And I'm pretty sure, like building simple MCP servers is like it's very straightforward overall. I think the question is in terms of like as of now, there is no really standardization, right? How people manage, like how people offering those servers, right? Like it's like with do they use the Anthropic API, Anthropic SDK, right? The fast MCP SDK, right? And how they deploy them. So
yeah, the deployment, yes, it's a good point. What I have seen is like they usually, as you mentioned yesterday in the community call, they're listed on the MCP, the Anthropic, the Model Context Protocol server repo. And then from there, they have like samples about how to connect with the clients, like with Cloud or Continue and others. But there's also samples about other integrations and use cases. So okay, so I have 2 or 3 things. So first I will think more on the use cases, like the short term could be like SDK, another one could be the migrations. And then we said review from the Spark what they have done, and then propose a high level architecture. But also you mentioned there are some people from Red Hat is working on it, because Red Hat is so big. I don't know.
Yeah. I think not working. I think I remember. Let me take a look quickly. Maybe I can find it.
Because I could reach out. Someone is doing something.
So it was,
Otherwise, I will just continue, on my own.
yeah, I think it was Ian. So let me post this thread. So the thread was about, so basically it was MCP server for like the training V1 was for Kubeflow training SDK. So this is the public thread. Let me ping you here there. I think like what Ian has done there, just adding the 1 second. Just adding the abstraction layer on top of all of those public APIs, the SDK APIs. And like when basically, then I guess Claude can interact with those tools.
Yep.
Because like we expose all of those SDK APIs as tools, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah. Like, for example, right now I have a Visual Studio Code and I have it integrated with other MCPs through Continuous Cloud. So you can use it to build things. Like we could use it as well. So yeah. Okay, we'll take a look at did you send me a Slack on the Slack?
Yeah, I think I just pinged you in Slack.
Okay. Well,
spreads to the meeting notes. So
great.
take a look.
Perfect. So yeah, anything else? I will take that, and then I will. You want me to? Yeah, we'll add it probably to the issue, or what? How do you prefer to?
Yeah. I mean,
should I work a cap?
We can prepare a proposal if you want. Just a simple cap there.
Yeah.
And just add some ideas so we can brainstorm some ideas, right? Or you can just start with Google Doc, and then we can convert this Google Doc to the Markdown if you want, right?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. So,
perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions for this? Yeah, I think this is great. Like overall, I kind of like having the agents interact with the Kubeflow API. So if we say that Kubeflow SDK is the primary interface to interact with Kubeflow APIs, I kind of like expect that agents can interact with those tools using the MCP servers.
Yeah.
And I think eventually, I think there is. So like what I envision that right now there is no really there is no like a lot of good examples of long running agents. Like for example, when you have an agent who will help you to build the model based on your data set, which means like agents with all the we perform all the orchestration and work completely like asynchronously from you. So like as all the agents we know like right now, like Cursor or Cloud Code or like anything you have in Copilot, right? They kind of like generating code, right, for you. We have like some more kind of complex agentic application, but I don't think industry right now have a good examples when you have like long running agents. For example, like agents which can be a data scientist and develop models, perform some ML engineering work. And what I feel like Kubeflow has a capability to orchestrate this AI workloads, like training, serving, data preparation, and like we should definitely provide a way for agents to interact with those tools so we can build those kind of like long running agentic applications. And I think there are a lot of opportunities for us to to be involved in those initiatives because we have those tools, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I will add that as well. That's a good idea, and it made me think also on the SDK advertising it, that maybe it will be worth to focus on that first, because it will have a bigger impact. So yeah, let me start writing all of that on the Word document I will share with you.
I think if we can even like in the future prototype something to say, hey, like we have an agent who can build who can fine tune LLM based on the user request, right?
Yeah, that would be great. And connect with other MCP servers and provide those connectivities, not only with Kubeflow, but with others. Yeah.
Basically, agent can generate your PyTorch code, and then agent can knows how to scale this PyTorch code on Kubernetes by using the, for example, trainer API, right? And converting this to the to the create job API or train API. So I think there are a lot of opportunities definitely with this. I hope community will continue think about use cases.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, great ideas. Yeah, we'll start the Word document. We can go from there and we continue discussing the next meetings. You guys meet every week, right?
So we have the SDK, ML experience call every other week. And
okay.
This call is bi-weekly. So it switch between the EST and PST time.
Got it. Good.
Yeah. So, all right. So we have 2 more minutes. Any last questions, comments for this? Yeah, maybe I just want to quickly say that for to supporting hyperparameter optimization with Kubeflow SDK, I think we kind of make a decision last week that probably just to give users some sort of initial value, we want to support KDIP experiment API within Kubeflow SDK, but using the new new names. So for example, instead of calling this experiment, we will call this optimization jobs. But we will not really update the backend. We will start with the SDK changes, so user will get immediate value to optimize hyperparameters. So they can train models using train jobs. They can optimize parameters using optimizing jobs, and everything in a single client. Sorry, everything in a single SDK. So only one action items here is to design this SDK and design how optimized API might look like, right? I can definitely propose some ideas, but if anyone has any suggestions or ideas, let us know. We have this discussion in Slack. I would love to hear your feedback on what is the ideal experience to optimize hyperparameters. All right. So any last questions, comments? All right, sounds great. Then thanks so much for your time. Then I guess see you next week. And thanks again for a great topic. See you around.
Thank you. Bye.